Lesson 35, Attaching the Sponge or the Shoulder Rest of the Violin, Part 2, Playing with the Violin on the Shoulder, from Learn Violin Fast, Book 1. To help support the violin on the shoulder, we either use a sponge or a shoulder rest. A sponge requires rubber bands attached as shown in the picture below, while the shoulder rest does not. So if you have a sponge, let's say you're a beginner and you rented your instrument, very often those rentals will come with sponges. So what you're going to do is, if you can get access to what they're called file folder rubber bands. It's probably 8 inches in diameter, but it's a rubber band. I would tie it at the end button, or you could tie it on the tailpiece ends here. You can slide it under, put it inside itself, and then you're going to want to secure one end on this side C-bout, one end here. So you can get your rubber band that goes from here and here, and the shoulder will slide under. The shoulder does not go long ways, the sponge I mean, it goes across this way on the violin. If you use a shoulder rest, which is highly recommended because it supports your instruments much better, you don't need any rubber bands or anything on it. The legs go on the side of the violin. And basically, to just show you, the reason why pretty much most players nowadays use a shoulder rest is that if you have the violin up on the shoulder, you notice how it kind of just slides down, and in order to keep it up, your shoulder must support it, which is really quite difficult in a pretty advanced way that everyone used to play. But now with shoulder rest, it's just a lot easier. So the violin will go on the left collarbone, and the shoulder rest of the sponge will go here, and you're going to look left. And if you notice, if I put my violin up here, and there's no shoulder rest, and I don't support it with my shoulder, it simply just slides down, and is basically going to result in improper playing position like so. So the highly recommended one is the shoulder rest. I'm a huge fan of the Everest shoulder rest. There's no sponsorship here of any sort. This is what I've been using myself personally. Their legs have these extra little, let me see if I can place it better, right? Their legs have this extra piece of rubber that makes it really easy and very secure to put in the violin. The shape of all shoulder rests will be, there's a curved side that's high and then a curved side that's low. The high side, this part right here, will go on the shoulder, and this will go on the chest. You'll notice that the legs have a little groove inside. So what happens is the violin's top and bottom, they protrude from the side outward, and the shoulder rest has to basically slide over like so. Now the best way to put the shoulder rest on is you find the curved side or the high curve. This is where the shoulder goes. So I can literally put the shoulder rest on my shoulder and it will stay in place. Here it is side view. You notice how it perfectly outlines the shoulder rest and the chest. And the best way to do it is the curved line. We're going to put on the widest part of the violin. You just need to connect here, make sure that the lip goes over the violin. And then you're going to slide the other leg like so. So in practice, the violin, let's see if I can get a better angle here, right? So this is how you want the violin to look with the shoulder rest. And this is sideways, so it needs to go over the lip, right? And if you have a sponge, the sponge will have a flat side, and it will also have same outline. So you want the thin or the high part, right, of the sponge to go where the shoulder is. And then you want the thicker or the lower part to go where the chest goes. So highly recommend to get and acquire shoulder rest. Everest shoulder rest I think is fantastic. It's what I use. It supports the violin. If you'll notice, I'm holding my violin just by the shoulder rest. It doesn't fall out. Where some brands like Kuhn and some other ones are fantastic, but they tend to fall off a little bit more. So I highly recommend the Everest just because it's very secure, it supports the violin properly on its shoulder, and makes it really easy to focus on good playing positions. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them in the comments, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.